Hello, good evening, everybody. It's very hot, and I want to get quiet. I want to try and get us to be a little bit cold, to make some space for us to sit inside of something. So, yeah, my name's Marita, and thanks everyone for joining tonight in person and out there if you're out there. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? Okay. Okay. So, how can a text become a structure, a sculpture, a vessel for more than its parts? Can it hold Carolee and me, she and I and they and others? Untitled score in 3 acts. Act 1 is not. In Act 1, we are asking what we are speaking about. Directions, to be read aloud by one or many. Setting, here together. This text is not complete. This text is not fixed. This text is not static. This text is not speaking about a singular voice. This text is not singular. This text is not for single use. This text is not about a score as musical notation. This text is missing a beginning, a middle, and an end. In Parts of a Body House, Carolee Schneeman writes, bathroom, winter night. Get into the bathtub, which is full of warm water and pine bubbles, with someone you love. Make love in the water. The only light is blue, black night, gold and blue flashes. A cat comes to swim in the tub. It paddles and sneezes, its fur soaked. Then the cat sits on the edge of the tub watching you in the dark water. A film is made of this. A leap in the dark from an easterly lung, falling briefly, a sudden landing in the heart chamber, cunt chamber. Enormous, soft, velvety, warm, damp walls, rounded, ridged, pulse gently. Your whole body is squeezed up and down. Between pulses, you can clamber around, holding on to the ridges. Each ridge you touch emits a flash of brilliant colored light. It's slippery. The mucus walls expand, contract, push you slowly up or down. You may doze in the strange rocking, only 1 or 2 persons at a time in this chamber. When you wish, begin to crawl down, head first, pushing between contractions. Exit. In writing about the score as instructional text, I'm writing into a space of not caring about the cat, the kid, the washing, the time, single-use plastics, bee-loving plants, emails not yet written. The writing about score as instructional text is found on a page, a loose leaf of paper that motivates a person to care enough to read the text in their mind, out loud, in a gallery space, on the bus, with a group, a collective, on stage, for camera. To tell, to record, to reenact, to recall, the moment of caring to attend to a text. In writing about the text, this instructional text, this score, I visited and revisited the film. I hope I'm loud when I'm dead. I cry at the moment 5 minutes before the end, when the filmmaker Beatrice Gibson is speaking to her 2-year-old daughter, offering her the film, her work, as a legacy to her. Beatrice is putting on red socks and white shoes and makeup, getting ready to dance with her 6-year-old son to the rhythm of the night in a mirrored corner of a small nightclub. In this work, Beatrice dances with her child, reenacting the closing scene of Claire Denis' film Beau Travail. She moves as he, hand in pocket, faking a cigarette in a refashioned suit. She dances with her son and the credits roll. I think about the score in my body that performs on cue, to cry at that moment 5 minutes before the dancing, each time I watch this film. I look forward to this crying in a darkened room. In writing about this text, about instructional texts, my eyes move a Carolee Schemann's Parts of the Body House. My eyes settle on the words, a cat comes to swim in the tub. My cat comes for some petting or food. Now, my eyes slide along her words, describing her heart chamber, cunt chamber. Enormous, soft, velvety, warm, browned, ridged, pulsing gently. My insides contract and expand, remembering the rising and falling of a child readying to be born. My surprise that in birth she travels up as well as down on her way between bodies. A noise is made on this rising and falling, that is best described as an extremely loud unhearing. Act 2, untitled. In Act 2, we're asking, how does the body speak? Cast, L, you, me, I. setting here together. Elle says that my right side has white, jagged mountains rising up to her, and that my left side is empty. I say to my left side, "Who's there?" The left side says, "No one." Elle said, "Today everything is pointing for me to go back to here." And when she touched ever so lightly the middle back of my spine, she said she saw my eyes are closed, and I see Elle with her feet firming against the ground, legs apart in second position. Her legs are bent into a plie. She is stretching up towards the sky and then folding down over to the ground. Her tumbling hair follows the body, a waving echo. She scoops up to the ground, down to the sky, reaches down to the ground and up to the sky, and repeats. Scoop down to the ground, reach up to the sky. Scoop down to the ground, reach up to the sky. Scoop down to the ground, reach up to the sky. Scoop down to the ground, reach up to the sky. Scoop down to the ground. I scoop down to the ground and reach up to the sky. My eyes behind my eyelids still closed. Look left, see blue light. Look to the bottom left, see green light. Look bottom right, see orange light. Look top right, see red. My eyes do this 3 or 4 times. Blue light, green light, orange light, red light. Now they are quiet. I am using I, but not talking about me. I am using I, but not talking about me, so that we can speak together. I have a curtain, it's all colour on one side with sounds, conversations, a flash of light, renderings of form. The other side of the curtain is completely blank. If we wish to inspect the side where material, volume, and texture are absent, I must ask, how can I come to understand a form which has no body, no memory, weightlessness, that which cannot be said, spoken, uttered, heard? If I am the curtain, but I do not know what I am made of, I am. I am using I, but not talking about me. I am using I as my curtain to give it form, so that we can speak together. Cake. I had spent all Sunday baking. The cake smelled delicious, being a mix of spice I wasn't familiar with. I had previously loved making meringue pie, but baking wasn't something I was so keen on now, trying to settle into a new year at high school and a new city. My mum had found a tin for me to take to school in, a cake tin, something I hadn't seen in our home before or since. And I wonder now where it came from. The cake was dense, moist, heavy, cumbersome, and I could smell it through my bag. There was something very awkward about bringing something other than myself into school, taping up a space that I was not comfortable with. The mornings of my first few months at the new school were spent at the lockers under the PE building. It was a shaded space carved out under the gym as the land sloped down the hill. There were some metal benches and lockers, giving the space a very particular metallic sound quality. At some point, the space had been imagined as a space to keep sports kit and sit in the shade in front of the oval. But as the space was not so visible to teachers in the morning, it was a useful senior space for students to sit and smoke first thing. Conversations were mostly around the previous evenings, out at clubs or seeing bands. Hair was slicker rock, messy indie band, or undercut club styles. Shoes were pointy or not, thick-soled or not. There was a lot of hairspray and makeup across genders piling up there in the clouds of morning cigarettes. It wasn't clear to me if they socialized together or all had groups of friends they met out. There was a new student, Dan, whose family had moved to Sydney from Germany, with very well sprayed up and undercut hair and a softer version of the toe shoe, who often gave me a lift to school in his car. He started his morning at these benches, and I gratefully silently followed him there as a new girl from a small country town. I had arrived at the benches with my bag heavy with this cumbersome cake to find it was the wrong day for the bake sale, and started to doubt if there ever even was a right day. I feel ashamed of my weekend enthusiasm for such a non-event. This awkward, heavy, strange-smelling tin weighing on my mind. I open one of the unlocked lockers, slide in the tin, and close the door. I never sit at the lockers again, moving to sit with another group of smokers located in a clearing of a small patch of bush which sloped away behind the art block. I didn't think of the tin again. I wonder now about my burning cheeks shining as I closed the locker door. How long did the tin stay there? Did it go through all the life cycles of maggots and flies until there is nothing in the tin but dust? Did someone open the locker to be met with a swarm of something? Does the tin sit there still, waiting to be found? Thinking about my mother now, I can't tell her about that day, of the embarrassment and shame of that cake, of my body wanting to disappear, or of a new uniform with the wrong kind of skirt and shoes. Mum's dust and perhaps a couple of diamonds from the eternity ring she was cremated with, lapping at the shores of Umina Beach, where ashes are scattered. The music lesson. Miranda and Nancy have cornered me at recess. Nancy was in my music class and had become some kind of friend through hanging out at the lockers the previous year. Not someone I hang out with after school, but I'm sure we did chat in and around music classes. As I remember her face, her eyes, the dark kohl around them, her hair piled up in a messy bird's nest that she would slide her hand into from time to time, unconsciously rub, mat up her hair a little, and then drag her fingers upwards to check and maintain. This haze of hair that hovered above her lightly freckled face. She wore a pencil skirt version of our navy blue uniform and was one of the ones that wore the pointy shoes to school. I had organised for us to take private guitar lessons during school time through my piano teacher. Our guitar teacher was young and attentive, and from what I understood from Nancy, he was in a band. Nancy was out with him most nights and certainly fucking him when she could. Miranda had started as a new student in the next year, same as me, but she was older, lived with her in her dead mum's house with a man who sold weed and aloe vera food supplements, supported through the slogan, "Lose weight now, ask me how." Miranda was beautiful, small and slim, straight blonde hair. I don't know why I remember her pointy hard tits as eyes that were always following me around, but there they are, as an unreliable witness for what was to come. Miranda had a Bell's palsy across her face that meant she talked and smoked out of one side. I remember her constantly smoking, and being cornered by them both, she was certainly exhaling smoke as she was talking. Nancy didn't say much, but was there as Miranda's friend, and it feels important now as to who was there and when. Miranda held a birthday party for me at her house in March, and I had slept over. I remember my mum turning up in the morning to pick me up in the car. She'd driven down the driveway and come in the back door. Miranda followed me in a really tight t-shirt, smoking and saying goodbye. I don't remember her boyfriend being there at all. It was now later in the year, after the party. Miranda and Nancy cornered me in the break between classes. Miranda was furious. Apparently, she'd found most of the bedding from the night I'd stayed stuffed in the back of a linen cupboard in the hall. It was filthy with vomit, blood. Her Bell's palsy had left her with limited to no smell, and she was sure that this mess stunk, and that visitors to the house would have been smelling it for months before she had now discovered it. How could I do this to her? She inhaled and her cigarette exhaled. I said nothing. I have a curtain. It's all colour on one side with sounds, conversations, smells, a flash of light, rendering of form. You are there too, of that I am sure. The other side of the curtain is completely blank. A regular sound of refusal at intermediate volume persists. I am using I, but not talking about me, so that we can speak together. Small details matter. The smell, like alfalfa in the sandwich I had with my dad, my first meeting with him alone after my parents separated. The t-shirt Miranda was wearing when Mum picked me up, white and tight. I remember had the word fuck on it, and I felt really embarrassed for Mum. Miranda said the party was fine. Showering in the morning, walking out to the car without my shoes and stockings, a grey dress I never wore again, bed linen with faded flowers of an unknown era, the spare linen that we don't remember buying that is just there. I always sit with Cynthia in chemistry. My grades in chemistry are barely a pass when I graduate. Details are important. It's the details of the past events we rake over, go back through, create wormholes in the past. These openings now seem to stay open when previously they would open and close. They get bigger and louder, connecting past and present, skipping over all the in-between to render all that has happened between the event and now unimportant, irrelevant. Wipes away years of love, work, living to render the I as nothing. back of that still water, amongst the reeds and the dancing dragonflies, it is cool, 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 cold, dark. A nibbling at my toes, shortness of breath, trying to be met through breath and tongue, toes not quite touching, numb and thawing. Light is dancing in the shaded water, bouncing moonbeams, not surprising. As I called you here on the last pink moon, remember to breathe. Dear Gemma, I'm touched that you asked me to be your reader. I can feel how fresh your text is, how you are seeking a form that captures careless care. With that in mind, I offer a light edit, thinking through what you encounter on a first reading. I hope you find the comments helpful. You don't need to take them on, they are just a suggestion. I don't want to touch the content or structure too much. The middle of the text talks carefully about your feminist methodology, circling of belly buttons. I hope I have reached for the kind of care for which you are hoping. Caring too much to the detriment of others that need our care, not caring enough when it counts. I struggle with this all the time. To find a settled place in care is difficult work. The content of your essay has brought up a lot. Burying a friend's dog in his favourite park in the dead of night. The smell of the dog has never escaped me. The digging into the hard soil beneath the trees, hoping to make a hole big enough that the corpse would not be discovered by scent or other means. During my fine arts studies, I took the anatomy class. On my first day, the class met at the medical institute and was led quickly into a room, the smell of which took me back to my night of sharp spades hitting flint and rock, our heavy dog corpse wrapped in his favourite blanket. Senses darting quickly from smell to the gunmetal trolleys covered in equally grey, heavy plastic sheeting. My attention was drawn back to the harsh sound of the sheet folding as an attendant pulled back. Smell, now hard in the back of my nose, the face on the trolley greeting us, eyes closed. Lying still on the trolley, a body half revealed, skin of an indescribable colour. All body hair had been removed. A vertical incision down the chest had flayed open the flesh to reveal the rib cage cut through the bone top and bottom, enabling access to the heart and lungs, which were no longer there. The attendant said we were to be left in the room for an hour and walked out. A number of students pulled out sketchbooks. One started taking photographs. Another student reached into his bag and pulled out a blue disposable latex gloves, proceeded to pull them on. He reached over to lift the front part of the ribcage away from its resting place and held it in his rubberized hands for some time. I wasn't really sure what to do. Your text's insistence on trying to discover if the boy with the yellow belly button drew breath returned me to this room. A space of a particular kind of learning, a particular kind of thinking about what a body might be, how an art practice is brought into relationship with the body. In the smell and the plastic sheet, there is no space to ask who, why. Medical students had committed the slice and dice before our visit. What is happening in this room, in offering us a space in which to connect with the figure? Where is the breath? Where is community? Where is the capacity to care, to exceed its requirements? I'm trying to tell you something, I'm not sure yet what. Something about how artists are conditioned into a way of thinking, of how the institution offers access to experiencing a particular condition of thinking about bodies as pedagogy. And I wanted to ask you your thoughts on the wax models at the Josepheum. Have you seen the one of the pregnant woman? The top of layer of her stomach is artfully peeled away to reveal a perfectly formed unborn child of wax, never to draw breath. She is referred to as the slashed beauty. It is noted with great fanfare in the description that human hair was used. It's an image of a so-called learning, which leaves me with such unease. I've been writing a bit about the visceral nature of caring and my carelessness in relation to my mother in her sharp decline and death from a fast-acting degenerative disease diagnosed a month after my daughter was born. From diagnosis to the next time I was physically present with my mother, she could no longer speak and was walking too fast, trying to tidy up loose ends before her legs moved no more. The next time I saw her, she was bound to the bed. There was a hoist, a wheelchair, a bidet for ease of cleaning. I was wiping away the excess shit that had gathered around her vulva, touching her for the first time in a place I had slid through at birth, a soft, warm place, now filthy from the progress of this advancing disease. The closeness of cleaning her waist, my carelessness at not being at her deathbed when she finally passed. I never got to see her body in death, only its decline. It's a carelessness that haunts me whenever I rest. Well, I've probably said too much already, and in many ways not enough. I'm not yet settled on my text for SK, struggling in the space of too much and not enough, outlined in the sentence above. I will try and get something in a shape to send on later today. It's been useful reflecting on the dog and the trolley, and this is what was needed. Thank you. More soon. Warm wishes. Act 3. Score for sharing space and body. Cast used. You, me, I, he, she, they, and others. In Act 3, we are sharing internal and external space, setting here together. Directions. Place hands on the stomach, make the z sound with the teeth touching. Then shape the mouth into the O sound by opening out the teeth and tongue to make an O shape. Feel the sound made between the z and the O, and then stay in the sound for as long as the breath will allow. Repeat a number of cycles until the inside and the outside have moved into each other. Then, when ready, allow quietness to return. Inhale. Exhale. The